So that kind of gives you a flavor of the way that they teach. This was done in 2017, and I'm reading their book. And so it's just helpful. And the other thing that's really helpful is that we can be good examples of how to post on Facebook or on Twitter or on Snapchat or whatever. When I make a mistake and someone points it out, I thank the person, I edit my post, and then I pull my post. So I do something to mitigate that. But I also try to do it nicely when I correct people. And actually, I've corrected people who have very opposite views from me, and they've actually thanked me. So that's been really helpful. So the takeaways, you know, for this particular episode, but I think really for the entire series are the ones that are here, is that you know, we need to be aware of what we're doing, and we need to be helpful. We need to understand that the social media platforms, as they're currently done, aren't there because they're not really free. But we can use them as a tool, just like we use printers and computers and Zoom and other things, understanding the structure and doing what we can to mitigate any harm that might come from that. So do people have comments or questions about today? Or go ahead, Judy.
I did call someone out like a week ago, because this woman, I don't even know who she is, but every time her name came up, it was a kind of a nasty remark. And, you know, I just felt that she needed to be called out on it. And I said, if she doesn't like this woman who was the original poster, why doesn't she find someone else she could agree with? Because every post she had was so negative. And she wrote back and said she hadn't realized how she comes across. So sometimes it's really helpful to people if you can say it in the right way and not be nasty about it. Yeah, people will maybe stop and think about what they have said and perhaps change their ways.
Right.
You know,
that's a really good point. Anyone else?
This is Charlie. I just want to echo Judy. I think the thing we often forget or lose sight of is that social media, for the most part, is text and graphics. We lack facial expression, we lack tone of voice, and we don't necessarily know how we're personally coming across, or whether the people that we're interacting with are actually, if our perspective is correct or not. So it's something to keep in mind, I think, just in general, when you're on a social media platform of any kind.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. The other thing is that I actually have rules. I have actually constructed rules on how I present things. So I try to always post what I'm for. Sometimes it takes me days to figure out what I'm for, because whatever I'm responding to has made me so angry or upset that I, you know, can only think what I'm against. But that rule has saved me from posting things that would have been very poor. And so that's one of my rules. Another rule is that I set boundaries around on how, by posting what I'm for, by the way, and by posting my experience, rather than saying you should do this, I say I do this. It also kind of tamps down on the amount of trolls that kind of show up on my posts, because it's like they can't really argue with what you do. I mean, they can if they hate it, but it's not like I'm telling somebody else how to do things. So I think about what I'm doing, and then on my social media posts that are around social issues, I also try to elevate the voices of other friends. And one thing that this link will be in the resources is there is a pernicious habit on social media, especially on Facebook, of what's called copy and paste. So in other words, you'll get this usual long thing written out, no author, no citation, and it's copying and pasting. Well, first of all, if I don't know the source from something, I'm not going to copy and paste it. Secondly, that's first and second. I try not to post anything that I don't know who the author is, because I want to give them credit for it. But if I can't check it out, if I can't validate it, and that's all that is that's just a new way of doing those chain letters that we used to get when we were kids or in college or when the computers first came out. So copying and pasting has many, many evils, and that's the way a lot of disinformation and misinformation is shared as well. So, you know, thinking about how the rules you are, and then you can interact. I'm actually starting to retweet things on Twitter. I hadn't done that, but I'm slowly learning how to do that. And that seems to be one way of getting information, but I always check. So I really want to thank everybody for taking the time over 10 weeks to come and join us for this series. I've learned a lot from everybody who's come. And I just want to remind you, have resources that we will continue to expand on our website, because this is one of the critical issues in civic education, is making sure that people are interacting with information that's accurate and that we're reporting it accurately. And please share the series with others. Please reach out to us if you would like us to do more work like this, or if you have more resources that you want to share. We'd like this to be a robust topic that we continue discussing.
Well, I want to thank you for doing this. I really appreciated it.
Good, good.
And I learned stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to add my thanks too, and also say that one of our program focuses here in Kitsap County for next year is going to be doing this kind of thing. So you may be hearing from our voter services people. They're trying to fold some of this into a request from our auditor to help get accurate. We work hard to get accurate information out there. And he said, that's not enough. We have to counter the misinformation. And I said, oh, a lot of that's on social media. So this has been great.
Good. I'm really glad, very glad that you could join us.